Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new series I'm starting. We're gonna be going through a bunch of doing like stuff with Magic the Gathering with Commander. So I've been playing Commander for a little over a year now, and I've really enjoyed it. One of my favorite things to do is deck building, and I aim to try to go as low as I can, as high as I can. Just trying to do weird, wacky strategies. And I think today I have a really good one for you guys. So here we have a deck I'm calling Bearing Fangs. It is with the commander of Fynn the Fangbearer. He has Deathtouch, and whenever a creature you control deals combat damage while it has Deathtouch, the player that is dealt that combat damage gets 2 poison counters. Now, poison counters, you get 10, you lose. So our aim is to overrun the board with tons of really low power, low mana creatures with Deathtouch, which is really easy in green, and then just wipe the board with that. So these are all just our pretty much vanilla attackers. Nothing really of worth with this. Most of them are 1 to 3 mana, 1 to 2 mana. A couple of them go above that. One of our more notable ones, stuff something like Hornet Queen. Hornet Queen enters the battlefield and creates 4/1/1 green insects with flying and Deathtouch. So it adds a bunch more attackers onto the field. You got Majestic Myriarch, which essentially copies all keywords of your board. So we'll be getting like Reach, Deathtouch, Toxic. I think Toxic is not part of that, but you'll be getting Haste. You'll be getting Deathtouch. You'll be getting Reach, Flash, even though it really won't matter. Vigilance. So you'll be getting a lot of cool keywords out of it. We're going to come down actually a bit here where we're going to go to more of our supportive attackers. These are creatures that you're going to be swinging out while also, when they do swing or when they deal combat damage, you're going to be getting other effects. Something like Flesh Burrower, which whenever it attacks, something else gets Deathtouch. So any creature that might not have Deathtouch on the board, like if you want to swing one of your mana rocks, like your Elvish Mystic, Llanowar Elves, Poison Dart Frog, you want to swing those, you can without needing to either spend extra mana, enchant it, or anything else. Bloated Contaminator, it whenever it deals combat damage to player, you proliferate. Really important here, as proliferating is one of the strongest strategies when it comes to poison. So you'll be swinging in, getting damage off of it. Not only will you be hitting trample damage, but you'll also be getting toxic off of it. So you'll be getting poison counters on them just from doing that. You'll get the poison counters from Fynn, as well as being able to proliferate another one onto the player. Aranus Gloomstalker, whenever it attacks, you return a land card from your graveyard to the battlefield. There's not many lands in this deck that sack itself. The only ones being Tectonic Edge, which destroys an unbasic land, as well as Myriad Landscape, which fetches you 2 basics. Not really too supportive, as there's only 2 that sack itself, but it's still useful nonetheless as if you want to just do land hate, or if you want to be able to fetch more lands so you can cast more creatures. Jewel-Eyed Cobra, when it dies, you get a treasure. Essentially, you just want to swing it as fast as you can, just so you can get that extra treasure out. Or you can use it as like a way to get a treasure mid game, like mid turn. Like you want to swing out. You have an opponent who swings at you. You want to get mana for a fog on one of the next opponent's turn. You can get that treasure from them. Turn Timber Basilisk. Whenever a land enters, you can make a target creature block it this turn. So that allows you to get a landfall, make something block, then you can have other creatures swing in. Pretty simple strategy there. Okay, Okame Adversary. You pretty much it's similar to Flesh Burrower, not Flesh Burrower, Bloated Contaminator, but instead of proliferating, you are getting card draw off of it. This is going to be really important because there's not a whole lot of card draw here. The aim was to make this deck as cheap as possible. As you can see, it's only $30, the $33. So card draw is hard to come by in a budget on green unless you're like truly dedicating it. Like there are stuff like Return to the Wild Speaker and stuff in this deck that do give you card draw, but not a whole lot. Ermin Daggertooth, whenever it's dealt damage, you proliferate. This is a good blocker, but you can also swing it in if you want to be able to pretty much say, hey, like, oh, I got Ohran out, or I got Bow of Nylea out on the battlefield, and be like, okay, well, I'm either getting 2 poison counters or I'm getting 1. You're pretty much guaranteed to get stuff out of it. Then it's also vigilant, so not only can you swing it in, get the damage down, and then when someone goes to return the damage, you can just block with the dagger tooth. Lastly, acidic slime, similar to uh, I'm blanking on the card. Tectonic Edge. You can swing in, you can bring this in, destroy a land. But you can also destroy an artifact or enchantment. Really important here, because it's additional removal on top of the bunch of removal we have down here, which is what we're going to go into next. Bite down, Cosmic Hunger. Pretty much all of these are the exact same thing. It's a one-sided fight. Ram through all of these are target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker and opponent controls. This means that all of these, unless the creature is indestructible, you're killing something. So, and especially in the point of ram through here, ram through is going to also get you extra damage if your creature is higher power than 1, which you have a lot of that here. I mean, just you have a lot of 2s, a lot of 3s, a lot of 4s. So you're guaranteed to get that damage through onto an opponent. But, it's all about support. As you can see, there's a lot of it here. Access Tunnel, Rogue's Passage. Just ways to make yourself unblockable if you want to get the extra damage. We got Diamond City, so you can make a creature more safe to swing. Pretty simple, especially since a lot of our creatures here are, even though we do have a lot of like higher toughness, we do have a lot of 1/1s in this deck. So you want to be running, something to give you that extra boost. Fog again, or if you swing out really stupidly, you can just back out essentially without losing all your board. Thirsting Roots, Contagion Clasp, Canker Bloom, Evolution Sage, all proliferate, printers dedicated to it, so that way you can get it one swing off, and then you can just start proliferating those poison counters on. Horde Vigor makes things indestructible. Poison the Blade gives one of your creatures that don't have Deathtouch for the turn, gets you a card draw. Same thing with Explore, but you also get to play an additional land. Viridian Longbow is similar to those removal spells in the bottom, but this time it is a tap to deal 1 damage to any target. This will kill anything since it has Deathtouch. Unnatural Restoration is another proliferate card. Sereth the Viper's Fang is a really good one here. It means any of your creatures that aren't like swinging out or have swung out for turn have hexproof, and then when they do swing in, they gain Deathtouch instead. This allows you to be able to swing anything you want, getting that Deathtouch, and anything that doesn't swing out is hexproof and can't be removed unless it's board wiped. Ohran does a similar thing, but only for the attacking side. It doesn't do anything with Deathtouch, but anytime a creature deals combat damage to a player, you get to draw a card. Some little bit more card draw there. Speaking of card draw, Garruk's Uprising. If any of your creatures are with power 4 or greater, something like your Urban Daggertooth, your Bloated Contaminator, your Phyrexian Swarm Lord, Bellowing Tangleworm, stuff like that. When they enter, you'll get a card draw off of that. But speaking of the Phyrexian Swarmlord, it brings a 1/1 green insect creature token with Infect for each poison counter your opponents have. This is a really good late game cleaner. Probably should go into our little game enders up towards the top here. But it's still just generally a really good supportive card, even in the early game. Because even if you're able to get like 1 or 2 off on there, you're getting creatures that are fly. Actually, they don't have flying, but they do have Infect, which allows you to be able to start chipping at their board with, and kind of invalidating some of their creatures just by the fact that you're making them weaker. Bellowing Tangleworm gives your green creatures haste, where with Intimidate, it's more of a retired mechanic now, but it's only be able to be blocked by artifact creatures or creatures that share a color to it. At least on tables that I play, we don't really play a whole lot of green. It's mostly like black, blue, and white. So a lot of green's kind of usually off the table. It's not like we have like a hate for green or anything. In fact, I love green, but it just seems to be that green's not usually a common color at our tables. So it's a great feature, especially if you're wanting to just swing out at someone who's kind of weakened. Let's see here. We also have. There's another creature. I was like, actually, I think that might be everything for it. I mean, there's general things. Fire Shrieker gives you double strike. I believe this will apply with Fynn, so that you're dealing combat damage twice with Deathtouch, meaning you'll be able to give 4 poison counters as opposed to 2. I could be wrong on that one, but even if so, double strike's gonna be great for with your Deathtouch creatures get blocked. That way you kill them on the first strike damage, and then you swing in for the second time with your regular damage. Mana rocks, don't really need to explain any of these. I mean, it's your basic stuff. Other than Poison Dart Frog can also be used as an attacker, even without the like instance giving it Deathtouch, because of the fact that you can pay to give it Deathtouch for the turn. We do have some double face cards with that go into lands. Vastwood Fortification, you either give something a +1/+1 counter, get the extra damage in on combat, or you just get a basic tapped land. Not really too much to it, just a kind of a simple card to add in. Tangled Florahedron, it's either a mana rock or it's a land. Just so like if you don't have the mana, but you really want a creature out, or you really want some mana out, you can play the land instead. Kazandu Mammoth, really good one for the landfall trigger. You can get it, turn it from a 3/3 to a 5/5, give it Deathtouch, swing it in. Especially if it's trample off of like Garruk's Uprising. But again, also just plays into a land. These are just all basic lands. Temple of Volscott's good like late game land, especially in lower bracket tables like this deck is intended for. Tectonic Edge just for that land hate. Reliquary Tower, no maximum hand size. You can't play anything for a while or don't want to. You'll have that stored up. Myriad Landscape, good land search. Jungle Basin. It's essentially something like a Simic Growth Chamber, stuff like that, but it's a green and a white, a green and a colorless. You can play it like on something for like a Reliquary Tower or something, or if you're too early for a Temple of the False God, pull that back. These are where we get to our game enders. Last things to talk about here. Predatory Focus and Plane-Wide Celebration. Predatory Focus is really good because then you're essentially invalidating someone's blockers. You're taking what they block with, being like, okay, well, I'm going to just cast this, and even though I'll be losing my creatures, you're still taking 6 of 5 creatures that are Deathtouch, and they're going to deal like combat damage to you still, and you're going to get 10 poison counters out of it. So you just lose. And then Plane-Wide Celebration, you can choose any of these modes up to 4 times. The main goal is to pretty much just proliferate 4 times. You could also gain 16 life, something like if you're like really falling behind on health, you could do that. To kind of save yourself, you can return permanents from your graveyard to your hand if you really need the extra creatures out. And then but the main goal is really just to proliferate 4 times. So that is the entire deck. I'll leave a link down to the description where you can look at this as well as every other deck I've built. Like I have, 523 decks on here. So it's pretty much just go look at everything. There's a lot there. So thank you all so much for watching though. and I look to see you guys at a table here soon. Have a good day.